Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 20 of season 4 of the F124 Driver Career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here in Sao Paulo for the Brazilian Grand Prix. If you missed out on the video that went live back on Monday, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. We are here with the second of the kind of final 3 sprint races of the campaign. Of course, we'll be heading over to Qatar in a few races' time. But in Mexico, despite it being one of Verstappen's best tracks in Formula 1, we were able to beat him out and claim the dub there. Our third win of the last 4 Grand Prix. Verstappen in that time admittedly has had 3 second places, but still hasn't won since the Dutch Grand Prix just after the summer break there. It means we have got a 36-point buffer as we head into Brazil this weekend. Alonso, a terrible time last time out in Mexico, so once again, he's going to have to try and fight for the victory today if he wants to keep his title hopes alive. If you're new around here as well, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed to the channel. We're trying to hit 140,000 subs. But yeah, let's head out then straight into one-shot quali.
Atmospheric tracks don't come much better than this. We're in Brazil for qualifying. Let's get some laps at the limit.
Well, I can't help but feel that this is going to be a track we struggle at a little bit more. I've never had much luck in qualifying here in Sao Paulo, so hopefully this weekend we can maybe spring a surprise and try and get the car up towards the front of the order. But we really struggled as well back at the Circuit of the Americas in one-shot qualifying. A team that definitely didn't struggle was, of course, McLaren. Lando, Norris and George Russell each took a pole position apiece that weekend. But will we see the same thing happen here? It was Russell that was able to get the better of his teammate through sprint qualifying. And then as we moved into the real qualifying session, yeah, Lando Norris looks to be in control there. As for me, of course, we have just got to think bigger picture. We have got to just think about our championship hopes. But yeah, with Verstappen now rocketing to the front of the order, that doesn't make our life particularly easy. We are not having a particularly good lap of it so far either. A little way away from the Dutchman as we make our way through the final couple of corners, and as we try and get the power down, hopefully we're going to be able to find a little bit more time against some of the other runners. But this is going to be a terrible qualifying time when all is said and done there. We've completely run out of ERS as well. It is P15, and a bit like in our Formula 2 series, it doesn't feel like we're a long way off. Well, there we go then. Max Verstappen will take that pole position there. Top 3 covered by less than half a tenth of a second. Fernando Alonso and qualified by his teammate Lance Stroll. But for us, half a second off pole. Last weekend, that would have put you about P4. Here in Brazil, though, where it's such a short lap, that's only good enough for P15 there. We out-qualify Ricciardo, both Williams and both Kick Saubers. But we've got a lot of work to do, so I think just like in Texas, we're going to have to use the sprint to just gather some data.
Welcome to today's sprint. This is shaping up to be another fantastic weekend. Interlagos, always a very special race here in Brazil, is a 2.7 mile circuit with 9 lefts and 6 rights for a total of 15 corners. The fastest lap today should have an average speed of around 135 miles per hour, if of course the weather stays dry until the end of the Grand Prix. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday and he'll start from pole position. And it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Stroll, Fernando Alonso, Russell, Gasly, Oscar Piastri, Hamilton, Tsunoda, Hülkenberg, Perez, Sainz, Ocon, Firestarter, Albon, Ricciardo, Behrman, Joe, and Frederick Vesti. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We will soon find out.
Well, here we are then down on the grid, ready for the sprint here in Sao Paulo. And the team, I think we tried this last year, didn't we? We opted for the mediums and it didn't work. So we're going to just stick to the soft compound tyres for this one. Hopefully we'll have the grip that can carry us right the way through these 12 laps. Obviously, we took 7 points out of Verstappen last weekend. I think immediately he's likely going to take 8 back out of me before we even get into Sunday's race, unless Charles Leclerc can spring a bit of a surprise. But it's 5 red lights down on the grid here in Sao Paulo. It's not a long hold at all before it is lights out. And away we go then, nice and easy on the throttle as we make our way up into turn 1. Just want to try and keep the car clean and tidy there, as immediately we'll have a look around the outside. Whoa! Of Esteban Ocon, who clearly doesn't spot me on his inside through turn 2 there. For some reason, I'll get the warning for a collision with the Frenchman, despite the fact he quite clearly turned across me into the corner. And you can see again, I mean, Ocon is not afraid to get the elbows out here. I know it's a sprint, so everybody's got to get on with it. But he'll open the door as well for us as we make our way down the hill, up the other side, through Ferradura, though. Oh, we just ain't going to be able to... Whoa! Hang on there. And we've got a red flag. No one stopped. I have got no idea what that's about. No one stopped on the road. Clearly the game, I think, panicked because I ran off the circuit, despite not hitting anybody. That's a pretty weak red flag, even by F124 standards. Well, I guess we've gained one freebie, and it's going to be 5 red lights again then. And lights out and away we go here in Sao Paulo. Sadly, not going to be able to hold on to those spots as we make our way down in towards turn 1, unless I go for a bit of an aggressive dive bomb there down the inside of Carlos Sainz. Ocon again will try and make moves through the first couple of corners, but this time round we'll just slot back in behind Sergio Perez. I mean, yeah, that is utterly bizarre inside this game. It's down the inside of not 1 but 2 at the end of the Esquido de Lago there, and Hamilton and Yuki Tsunoda seem to be battling it out for that final sprint point. I think, annoyingly, Leclerc hasn't been able to make the move on Verstappen, though, as we're going to try and have a little bit of a sniff down the inside of Oscar Piastri there. Like I said, you can't be too scared to try and get the elbows out, because once more we've got yellow flags out through that first sector. So I think what it was... there we go. That is a big move on Oscar Piastri. Tiny bit of wheel banging there, but we'll make it work. I think, yeah, obviously there's yellow flags that come out. Yeah, the yellow flags I think come out through that section just because of the way everybody Constantine is up. And then because I ran off the circuit, it assumed there was 2 separate instances. So, yeah, really not too sure what we make of that one. As here we go. Hamilton and Hulkenberg. I wanted to make it 3 wide. We go to the inside in the end rather than trying to split him down the middle. And that's going to be another double overtake then. So what a restart that's been. Straight up into P9. Oh, we've got yellows. We've got yellows. Someone up in front is breaking down. No idea who it is. I can see cars desperately trying to avoid him. I think it's Lance Stroll again. So Stroll, just like we saw last weekend now in Mexico, he's had yet another mechanical failure in that Aston Martin. I mean, for us, luckily, it's going to promote us into the points then. So hopefully... yeah, we're going to still claw away a couple of those, but Lance Stroll, he has got no luck inside this game right now.
Okay, so that's a red flag.
We've got another one.
Flag, no overtaking, and let's get back into the pits, please.
There is something strange going on with this game today. 2 red flags in a sprint is unheard of. 3rd time's the charm then here in Brazil. It's 5 red lights, and it is going to be lights out, and away we go there. That time around we've done a little bit better off the initial launch of Tsunoda. Oh, we'll try and send it down the inside of Yuki. Oh, at that first corner, and it's all gone wrong. We just get a little bit out of shape there. We'll try and get back on the road again at turn 1 and maybe just bit off a bit more than we could chew off that restart then. So any hope of points has immediately evaporated there, and I forgot just how bad that curbing is through turn 1 here. So that has been an absolute disaster on the 3rd restart. I think I could do with another red flag here before the end of this one. Just to try and have another chance to fight our way back through. So here we go, trying to get a run then on Ocon and Hamilton here. Once more we've got to try and use the superior straight line speed of this car. And for the 2nd time then in this race.
DRS is now online.
Oh, that was not where I really wanted to put the car based on what happened last lap, but it is another double overtake hooked up. We are back into P12 then. Points admittedly aren't that far in front still. But the DRS is so powerful here, as here comes Esti Besti trying to look down the inside. Oh, and we will slam the door in his face. I tell you what, just straight up, we just do not have the pace around this circuit at the moment. As here comes Esteban Ocon down the inside again. And I mean, the AI all kind of getting carried along in the DRS of each other. But Sainz and Perez are just continuing to pull away from us here. So I think a bit like Kota, this is another track where Ferrari's going to struggle. Although that being said, Leclerc still is running up in P2. We just can't seem to stay in the DRS of the cars in front. and you end up losing more time than obviously you can gain by not being in the dirty air. Brazil is definitely a track where the AI are very, very strong inside F124. And, well, yeah, that really comes at our detriment. Oh, we've got more yellows. Who now is falling out the wayside? It's a Haas, I believe. Is that Hulkenberg or is that Gasly? I want to say that's Pierre Gasly. Yes, it is. Out of the Grand Prix. And, well, we're a bit too late now for another red flag in this race. But that is a disappointing end for the Haas man. Well, it's on to the final lap then. Max Verstappen is going to be making his way out of Sao here. And it looks like he's going to be back on the top step of the Formula 1 podium once more there. The Dutchman will win the Brazilian GP sprint to kick off the weekend in fine form. But we've had a bit of a wake-up call in this sprint race. We just simply do not have the pace in the car right now. We have to make some setup tweaks. It is only P12. Well, there we go. You can see Verstappen comfortably out in front in the end, despite all the restarts and everything that went on. And his fastest lap, near enough a second quicker than mine. And you've got to remember, he had no DRS. Charles Leclerc in P2 ahead of Norris and Alonso there with Russell in P5. What's that going to do to our championship standings? Well, it means the gap, has been cut back down to just 28 points there between myself and the Dutchman. Leclerc now up over the 200-point threshold as well. Constructors-wise, we do continue to gain over Aston Martin, though. But yeah, let's try and put that behind us. I'm going to make some setup tweaks, and we will head into the GP. Well, I've made a few tweaks to the car, and hopefully that is going to allow us to have a bit more speed and confidence as we make our way through the rest of the weekend. But that might mean that we're even more compromised over our second one-shot qualifying here in Sao Paulo. We've just got to try and make sure that we end up somewhere where we can try and fight come Grand Prix Sunday, because yeah, the big goal once again is to try and lose as few points as we possibly can to Verstappen in the championship. I basically, want to try and keep a 25-point buffer so that if Verstappen has a perfect weekend, if we have a mechanical failure or something like that, then we know our World Championship hopes aren't immediately eradicated here as we try and make our way, though, through this middle sector once again. It looks like McLaren have got a lot of good pace in that car. George Russell, as we've said so many times this year, still yet to win a race in this campaign, and we're seem to be even further back from the current fastest time there as we round our way out of the final corners. What is the time going to be on the board? Where are we going to end up? Ready for real qualifying. We're down in P16 right now. I think it's going to be P13. Better than we did in the sprint, but still far from fantastic. And there we go then. This time round, McLaren lock out the front row then. George Russell on pole ahead of Lando Norris. Max Verstappen will get between them and the two Aston Martins with our teammate Charles Leclerc up in P6. That was a better effort than we did in sprint quali, but it is still going to be probably a weekend of damage limitation. Let's see what we can do then. It's time for the Brazilian Grand Prix.
Welcome to where heroes and history are made. It's where the 2008 title was decided in the final corner, and just 1 year later, Jenson Button stormed through from 14th on the grid to claim his one and only Drivers' Championship. It's time then for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. It's an unusual anti-clockwise race here at Interlagos, where the Sao Paulo locals are packed into the grandstands at each of the 15 corners around this classic 2.7-mile circuit. Two very fast sections bookend the famous and highly technical Sector 2, where getting a good run out of Yung Cao into one of the two DRS zones will be key to any overtaking prospects today. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Fernando Alonso, Leclerc, Oscar Piastri, Perez, Ocon, Sainz, Hamilton, Firestarter, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Albon, Behrman, Vesti, Joe, Stroll, and Pierre Gasly picks up the final grid slot today. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Well, here we are then down on the grid, ready for the Brazilian GP proper. And this time round, I'll be honest, I'm not convinced about the soft compound tyre. I think it's going to be better off to opt for the mediums early on and then try to take the hards to the end of the GP there. So if I can just tweak that around. We'll go mediums early on. We'll try and take him to about lap 16. And then, yeah, we'll try and take the hards to the end of the GP. If tyre wear seems to be a lot better, then we can easily move over to softs for the second half of the afternoon. But ultimately, yeah, I just think the tyre wear here is a little bit more brutal than the game is anticipating. But we line up P11 then on the grid by courtesy of some grid pens. It's 5 red lights. That's going to be lights out, and away we go there again. Just really struggling to put the power down up the hill as Yuki Tsunoda will bang wheels with us down in towards turn 1. Got to be careful that I don't take too much curb through that first corner, but we will get back around the outside of Hulkenberg as well, who tried to make a move through that first turn. So we've held on. That, I think, to be honest, is a pretty good start here, and let's wait and see whether we're going to see as many red flags as we did in the sprint as well for seemingly nothing. Brazil this entire weekend seems to be a little bit bugged. I'm not sure why. As we try and make our way then up through Ferradura there, tucked up behind Lewis Hamilton, who is in that final points-paying position. Not anymore, he's not. We'll move down the inside. And Hamilton there just tried to keep his nose in the inside line. And, well, I thought he might just back out of it, but apparently he hasn't there. And Lewis has picked up front wing damage.
You might start to notice it soon.
And you can see, yeah, immediately the Mercedes really struggling then. So we've got ourselves in a couple of really frustrating incidents early on this weekend. We picked up a little bit of side pod damage as well, but hopefully that isn't going to cause too many problems as Hamilton... I mean, we made it a little bit awkward for him there. We did go to the inside, but I knew he'd have to pit. Well, Russell and Norris then seem to be trading fastest laps right up at the front. So McLaren here are looking very, very racy in the early laps. But yeah, I think the big problem we've got, of course, is when you don't have the DRS, we obviously lose a bit down the two straights here. Not really much of a chance to save up battery through the middle sector. And where the AI is so good in the traction zones around this circuit, you don't really gain any time back. I would like to try and get more than 1 point here. Luckily, it looks like Verstappen's struggling as well. But yeah, I mean, it's so difficult. We've just got to hope that those AI tyres fall off and that we can close in. I mean, I genuinely think our best shot here is to just let Hulkenberg by and then try to utilise the DRS off him. So we're going to let our old Haas teammate through. He's going to inherit P10 then of this GP for now. We've just got to think, like I've said, about the long game here. I don't think this is going to be a circuit where we can beat Verstappen. So we've just got to try and maximise our own result. As already we've got yellows out. And they seem to have gone away again pretty much immediately. Well, I just don't think Hulkenberg's got enough here to really try and claw back in on those other runners. And I think we are now finally starting to see a shift between the soft and the medium compound tyre. So we're going to try and make our way back through then, up once more into that P10. The gap to Sainz, 3.2 seconds, as he has basically spent this entire weekend so far annoying Sergio Perez. We're just waiting to see whether those cars in front go side by side a bit more often. So you can see how much we're pushing down through turn 4. Oh, we've got yellows. There's someone up towards the front. Who is that? Don't say it's Max Verstappen. Oh, it's Fernando Alonso. And after bad luck last weekend in Mexico, he was getting himself back in the fight. It is not going to happen today, though, for him. And I think that might well be Fernando Alonso's championship hopes literally going up in smoke here in Brazil.
They've got an issue with their car. They're going to be slow. Just follow the safety car. Don't worry about the target. Follow the safety car.
Perez has got a puncture.
Stay positive.
Okay, slow down, slow down. Your delta's negative, which means you're going too fast. Reduce your pace.
Well, there we go then. A couple of crazy moments all in one go. Alonso at the Grand Prix and Perez then suddenly with a puncture. So not too sure what happened to him. But as everybody then tries to make their way into the pit lane here, we are going to get held up behind Charles Leclerc. Fresh set of hard tyres going on the wagon. Everybody else has opted in for mediums.
That was a fantastic stop. Faster than we were expecting.
Well, somehow in all of that, I don't think we've even lost a spot there, which is quite impressive. I'll tell you, one person that does work out nicely for is Lewis Hamilton in this Grand Prix. 26 laps though on mediums seems a very aggressive strat by the AI. Surely they can't all make that work. Well, safety car coming in then at the end of lap 12, so we've made it to 1/3 distance in this GP, and I believe it is still Lando Norris that leads the way at the front of the order in that McLaren. But we are going to have our work cut out over these first couple of restart laps there as Carlos Sainz potentially caught a little bit napping. He can't go for the move until we've crossed the start-finish line. That's exactly what we're going to try and do immediately then as Sainz. We'll just try and pinch him. Why have we got a red flag?
Red flag, red flag. We'll update you in the pits. Everyone's okay?
Well, I got no idea why we got a red flag now, but I think the glitches that we saw in qualifying seem to be back. This might be a problem. Well, I guess we get to stick on these hard compound tyres, but it just gives everybody else the same strategy idea now if they want to go for it. Most of the AI don't know, so it's going to be 5 red lights once again, and lights out and away we go. And why do all those safety car laps if we were just going to restart anyway under a red flag? Hulkenberg again, 4 wide in front. What on earth is that by Oscar Piastri down at turn 1? As we're going to make contact with Carlos Sainz though, on the exit of the first corner there, just caught a little bit out by the V-Carb driver there, as I think, yeah, Verstappen desperate to try and defend from our teammate there down at the bottom of the hill, but that might be a major problem for us later on in the Grand Prix. Oscar Piastri absolutely sending it on everybody there, trying to make moves off of the restart. But that front wing damage is costing us a bit more than I was hoping it would through the next couple of corners here, as we just want to try and stay. And now we've got a safety car again.
Slow your pace immediately.
I mean, that works for us. We get to be able to put a new front wing on. We will be at the rear of the field, but that does work. We've got a set of mediums or a fresh set of softs. I think what we'll have to do is take the mediums and then go back to our hard tyres again. But there is something strange going on with this race in Brazil.
Safety car in this lap.
Well, I just was able to catch up to the back of the train once again, so safety car is coming in once more at the end of lap 17. But will we see yet another red flag here? As instantly off the restart. Whoa, Fred Vesti, and yes.
Red flag. No overtaking, please. We'll see you in the pit lane.
They have genuinely broken Brazil on this game. That's 4 red flags we've had this weekend. This is unbelievably stupid. I mean, we've got to stay on the hards, haven't we? We can't really opt to go mediums just yet. I mean, look at the original allocation. Medium, hard, medium, hard, and soft. It is so stupid at this stage of the GP, but we've still got half the race to go.
Deja vu here, but there's a good opportunity to get this start spot on. Come on.
Everybody else now has gone soft. Surely they won't be able to go 16 laps to the checkered flag, but there's going to be no chance that we're going to get a good restart here for the, what, 6th time this weekend without trying to do a standing start in this game. So, oh, come on, Fred Vesti, please give me some room. I can't afford to lose my wing again. I don't know how many red flags you can get in a Grand Prix, but I think we are finding out.
Safety car deployed.
Oh, you've got to be joking. You have got to be joking. Another safety car in this race. And is that going to mean again we're going to get yet another red flag?
Okay,
This is unbelievable. Well, I've got no idea how many more times it's going to happen, but hopefully again, we're about to go green flag racing here. And if we get another red flag, then I'm definitely going to join the AI and just move over to the soft compounded tyre towards the end of this one. The problem we've got, though, is that I can't really make any overtakes, because, of course, if you just keep getting safety cars and red flags, there's not really a lot I can do. Down the inside of Fred Vesti, back at turn 1. Are we going to get another red flag, or will we finally be able to go green flag racing here? We've made it further than we did last time.
Debris. Fortunately, the marshals have managed to clear it up in time, and there are so far no plans for a safety car.
Right, where is this loose debris? This is the problem I think we've got. I think it might be that curb. Every single AI car is flicking up carbon fibre off of it. So I think that might be what's breaking the game. This is going to be the other big corner.
Safety car deployed.
Yeah, of course.
Stay positive.
This is just impossible. As I think Ollie Behrman is breaking down. They've just given me that place. Not that it's going to matter. I'm going to pit now and opt for some softs. Well, I know on previous F1 games there was a limit to how many safety cars you could have in a 50% race, and I'm pretty certain we have now hit that limit. So hopefully, I'm not going to say it's guaranteed, but hopefully these final 10 laps we're going to be able to run fairly smoothly without any more interruptions here. But honestly, this is F1 24. I'm not holding my breath. We have got slightly fresher tyres though. As you can see, Perez and Hamilton both having a bit of a lock-up down at turn 1. around the outside of Fred Vessi. I don't know how many times I've had to overtake him this afternoon. No.
Just be careful.
That's not what I want to hear. There's something definitely wrong with this venue. It seems to believe there's an extra incident out on the road, because that way, whenever, obviously, we get the yellow flags with everybody Constantina and up, if you get 2 incidents at the same time on F124, it triggers a safety car.
Speed. Our delta's too low, and we're going to risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
This might well just be the end of our race. We might just keep getting more and more safety cars. Well, some of you might ask why on earth I haven't restarted this race, or why I haven't just scrapped it altogether. But to be honest, EA and Cody's, they need to be held accountable. If we don't showcase these kind of glitches, they'll never fix them. So I really don't want this to be swept under the rug late on in the day. But if this ruins our shot at a world championship, I'm going to be really, really gutted there. As I mean, every single time now, we're just going to have to go super aggressive down at turn 1. Please don't tell me there's been contact.
On track, but officials aren't looking to push for a safety car right now. Just be careful.
I think we're going to get another safety car by the time we get up through turn 5 and turn 6. I think we're going to be behind another safety car. Oh my. Have we done? I think we've had too many safety cars. I think that's the problem. We've hit the hard limit. So, basically, to stop just races turning into complete chaos, there is, like I said, a hard limit as to how many safety cars you can get inside a single race in F124. Clearly, that limit is 5 rather than 4. But finally, we're going to get a few laps towards the end of this, and we've got to try and make moves. If we want to try and score a point or two here. We're up to P15 already. But we just need to try and get some points against Verstappen. Well, although the AI will be able to comfortably make it to the end on their soft compound tyres, simply because half the laps they're going to do are going to be in the safety car. Ours are still definitely that little bit fresher, and that does provide you with a big advantage towards the end of this race. That being said, though, I mean, they're still going to have to do about 10 flying laps on them. And obviously some safety car restarts and bits and pieces like that as well, as down the inside of Perez will go back up towards turn 1. Maybe we can get 2 for the price of 1. Can we have a look down the inside of Lewis Hamilton as well? Yes, we can. And contact with our fellow Brit on lap 1. We finally get back past him on lap 31. It is nice for the first time all weekend to actually feel like we've got some decent pace in the car. I was hoping it wouldn't take 5 safety cars for us to get to this point, but once again then... Whoa! Pierre?
Okay, this is Mark. I need you to stop cutting the corners. If you keep it up, the stewards are going to give you a penalty.
Well, that was, I think, the most aggressive AI defense I've ever seen on this game. That's like back at Imola. Well, they'll try and throw you on the grass out of the, well, up towards the start-finish line there, but we can't let Pierre Gasly live that one down. Again, I'm going to try and apply the pressure this time around the outside. And yeah, again, that superior grip in this Ferrari on fresher tyres. We will storm around the outside of the Haas. Now I'm a little bit nervous that the AI are going to start defending that aggressively from us. I'm also a bit nervous as Max Verstappen now has rocketed to the front of the order. So will the Dutchman make it a perfect weekend here at Interlagos?
Quite what we needed, but let's not worry about it. Get your head down and chin up. There's a long way to go.
Oh, the AI is so confident on the brakes down towards turn 1. But 4 laps left at the Brazilian Grand Prix. We are still trying to make moves. And now we know every place we gain from here is going to grant us some points. It feels like every race towards the end of the season has the potential to be World Championship defining there, as down the inside of Danny Rick and finally up inside the top 10 here. I might even be for the first time today around the outside of Hulkenberg as well. I mean, we've got so much straight line speed in this car. And up into 9th we go once again. Ferrari, the prancing horses, are giving us all the horsepower we need late on. But Verstappen is still withstanding that pressure from the McLaren. We're just watching the 2 Alpines battle it out. This be again another good weekend's worth of points for them.
Caution, caution.
Oh no. Oh no. What's happened?
Okay, be aware.
We can't get a safety car.
Part of the track, no overtaking through the yellow flags.
What on earth has gone on? Someone has brought up a huge plume of smoke. I think that might be a V car breaking down. It is. Carlos Sainz out of the Grand Prix there very, very late on in the day. So a heartbreak for the Spaniard there. He was having a really good race of it up inside the front-running group, but unfortunately it's all going to come undone for him with just a couple of laps to go. Is that going to give Verstappen, though, a little bit of extra breathing room ahead of Lando Norris? Those yellow flags will have interrupted everybody's rhythm here as Tsunoda, Ocon and ourselves 3 wide. Back down towards turn 1. Careful we don't spin over the curb like we did in the sprint. That's another double overtake done, though. And we are up into P6. As here we go, Lando Norris as well at the front of the order. Has a look to the inside of Max Verstappen. And I think he's going to make the move. Well, as we are about to start the last lap then of the Brazilian Grand Prix, will it be Lando Norris? Will it be Max Verstappen that takes victory today? I'm hoping for our championship. It is going to be Norris that will take the dub. We know how relentless Verstappen can be. He's fought for the win so many times in recent races, but none of it has gone his way. Will he finally get his first win since the Dutch Grand Prix? I don't think he can. I think Verstappen hasn't been able to get the move on Lando Norris there, and it might well be a drag race to the checkered flag this afternoon if he's able to get any more windows. But, I mean, P6 for us against P2 for him, that would only be a 10-point swing in the favour of the Dutchman, and it looked like throughout a lot of this Grand Prix, it was going to be a full 25 that go the way of our main rival, and that would have completely eroded our World Championship lead. It has been another weekend where we simply have not had the pace, but have utilised the strategy quite effectively to get away with, you know, a passable result in this series. But out of the final corner, will Verstappen have enough to close in on Lando Norris? I don't think he will. Lando Norris is going to win the Brazilian Grand Prix here in Sao Paulo for McLaren. Max Verstappen in P2. We come through a decent recovery to 6th. But boy, EA need to fix this game.
For the last time, Lando Norris is victorious.
Well, it all came good in the end for them, but it wasn't an easy start. Not the most straightforward of days, but I think it shows great strength in an athlete as a driver when you can overcome a day like this and walk away still with a victory.
And look at that, they're making their way out onto the podium now. Great race for the McLaren team, and I'm very happy to see them there on the top step of the podium.
There we go. Lando Norris will take the win this weekend and do me a massive favour in terms of the Drivers' World Championship there. Verstappen in P2 ahead of Charles Leclerc and Oscar Piastri, with Russell nicked in at the back of that kind of pack of 5 at the front there. I'm sure he'll be gutted once again. A pole position that he can't quite convert into victory there. Esteban Ocon just behind us ahead of his teammate Tsunoda, with Hülkenberg and Ricciardo rounding out your top 10. Further down the order, just Sainz and Alonso, your 2 Spaniards that failed to see the checkered flag there. Hamilton and Perez, days to forget for both of those 2 as well. But what does that do to the championship? Well, it means we've got an 18-point gap now over Verstappen with just 4 races to go of the campaign. Officially, still 5 drivers can win the world title. Lance Stroll has been knocked out of it with the result this weekend. You'd make the argument, though, that I think sensibly now it is looking like it's just going to be ourselves versus Verstappen. Alonso can just not catch a break late on in this campaign. Ferrari will once again open up the buffer ahead of Aston Martin. That gap now up to a healthy 106-point lead, so we'll hopefully wrap that up with at least a race to go before we make it to Abu Dhabi. But thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns ready in Portimao.